What is going on, y'all? Welcome in to another episode of Tori Tells, the podcast. Before we get started, I just want to ask you guys, if you enjoyed the kind of content and conversation from last week, feel free to put the feedback down below and any kind of topics you would love to hear more about. But without further ado, let's get into today's conversation. The shift. That motion between talking about it to walking in it. How many of you are holding on to a plan, an idea, a business, an opportunity to learn, and you want to take it to the next level, but it's stuck in that planning phase? You're not quite sure if you should do the thing or not. Today's conversation is going to be a reminder, as well as a moment of validation, to let you know that the world is waiting for you to make that shift. And today, through my own antidote, but also utilizing 3 key resources that truly helped me make the shift myself, I'm going to share it with you guys so that you can realize by the end of today, you don't need permission to do the thing. You simply need to walk in your purpose, and everything else will work itself out. Let's get into it. Where did this conversation even come from, Tori? And it came because of you guys, because of the support and the overwhelming feedback that I've received. I've had an opportunity to reflect on when exactly did I make the shift, making this space real and opening the conversation the way I had promised almost a year and a half ago. And it dawned on me recently. I finally stopped waiting for permission to do something that was already written for me. And when I started working on this space, a lot of people validated me. They told me, yeah, Tori, this is it. This is exactly what you should be doing. Right then and there, it created an expectation for them to see me do the thing. And after a year and some change passed, people started questioning me. You still launching the podcast? When I was being asked those questions, it kind of made me step back and think to myself, what was the holdup? And you guys know me. If something is bothering me and I don't quite understand what's holding me back, I like to stop and take a moment to figure that out. I had the opportunity of realizing that I had got comfortable with the idea of the podcast. And apparently, that's known as cognitive dissonance, which means we get cool with the plan. Our brain don't even know if we actually did it or not. Our brain is just content with the fact that the idea can be a possibility. I realized that I fell in love with what Tori Tells could be, and I never really thought about what the execution would look like. So prior to me truly launching this podcast, I had the opportunity of interacting with a book called Who Better Than You by Will Packer. And this book helped me to realize that I no longer needed permission to make the shift. This book teaches you about healthy arrogance and realizing that in any space of doubt, ask yourself, who better than you? In the book, Will talks about the just do it principle. And that principle essentially reminds you that in order to prove to yourself that what you're doing is worth it, you must have some kind of product. You must try to attempt to do the thing first. Not wait for everything to align, not wait till you have all the resources, but simply doing it, walking in it, and taking action. Because once you do that, not only do you show yourself evidence, but you show those around you, the ones that you're looking to impact, that you're truly here for the right reasons. And here's the proof. And what stopped me from making the shift is that I was fighting the old version of myself. And where this understanding came to life was I was watching my mentor. His name is Wall Street Trapper. And I was watching an episode. It was episode 165, if I'm not mistaken. And in the episode, he talks about this phenomenon called deconstructive progress. In deconstructive progress, we essentially find ways to sort back to comfortable behaviors. We know that we're growing, but it's not second nature yet. So we're constantly going back to behaviors of comfortability when we reach areas of discomfort. Me not taking the podcast seriously or researching how I could get things started sooner than later was because I was afraid. We naturally respond in a space of flight when we get in spaces of uncertainty because it's uncharted waters. And in that episode, he now gives us permission to make the right choice. Are you going to allow yourself to keep regressing? Or are you going to shake the fear of discomfort and move forward in knowing that you're doing the right thing and whatever comes with it is a part of the journey? What does it look like to move from that space of resistance between your old self and the person you're becoming? The answer is accountability. You have to get into a space of accountability with yourself. What I want to ask you is pretend somebody was watching you on mute for a week. Would they know that you was taking your dream seriously? And for me, answer was no. When it came to the podcast, I was making excuses after excuses. And what I realized is that I had to start creating a routine that gave this dream a chance. And I didn't just realize it on my own. I learned it through research and reading a couple of books. But one of the books that helped me to see this much clearer was Atomic Habits by James Clear. And in it, he explains that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fail to the level of our systems. We're not trying to achieve the goal tomorrow. What routines or systems do you have in place to help you achieve the goal, even if it's one step at a time every day? That's when I told myself I have to hold myself accountable. And what I could do is start small. At least once a week, show up with an idea or a topic, make a mock conversation of how you would carry it out. That started giving me evidence. It started showing me that I was capable of showing up for this. And here you are, sitting 4 weeks into something you thought you would never start. And then you know what happens, or what starts to happen when you begin to hold yourself accountable one step at a time? You start to get into this mode of becoming. What you say you want and how you show up are finally aligning. And that's where you have motion. And so I realized in my own example, by just showing up once a week and dedicating my time and my energy into truly creating a conversation for myself, my younger self, and for people who look like me and are going through the same things, it finally started to feel legit. And the motif of this conversation has been our need for permission. And in the becoming, you start to realize it wasn't about permission at all. It was about you finally realizing that you are worthy of success. So, as we end out today's conversation, I first of all want to thank you guys for sitting in and vibing with me on an important topic. But I also want to remind the person listening who might feel like this conversation was made for them. They feel like they're on that cusp of making the shift. I want to implore you this week to create a system or utilize the just do it principle or just pay attention to any of the resources that was utilized today to add something to your system or your daily routine that will take that dream from the cusp to motion. It's your girl Tori. I truly hope that conversation helped. Until next time.